Imagine waking up each morning with a sense of certainty, not about your schedule or your plans, but about yourself. Imagine walking into any room without shrinking, speaking your truth without second guessing, and facing challenges without fear of failure. Confidence like that isn't loud or boastful. It doesn't need applause or validation. It's quiet, steady, and rooted in something deeper than approval. But let's be honest, most people don't live that way. We hesitate, we doubt, we overthink. We scroll through curated lives on social media and wonder if we measure up. We walk through life carrying the weight of past mistakes, comparisons, and unmet expectations. Some try to fake confidence through appearance or accomplishments, but that only lasts until life shakes the foundation. And when it does, when the job is lost, the relationship ends, or the pressure becomes too much, so-called confidence often crumbles. That's because it wasn't real to begin with. It was built on shifting sand, not solid ground. What if true confidence doesn't come from the outside at all? What if it has nothing to do with how you look, what you've done, or what people think of you? What if it's already inside you, just waiting to be discovered and activated? You weren't born to play small, hide your gifts, or silence your voice. You were meant to show up fully, unapologetically, and purposefully. But you can't do that without confidence, the kind that stands strong even when life shakes you. The kind that knows who you are even when everything else is uncertain. The kind that doesn't need to shout because it's anchored in truth. That kind of confidence changes everything, and it's closer than you think. In today's fast-paced world, confidence is often misunderstood. It's frequently mistaken for charisma, extroversion, or a bold personality. Many people assume that if someone speaks loudly, dresses sharply, or dominates a conversation, they must be confident. But true confidence runs much deeper than appearances or volume. It isn't about being the loudest in the room or having all the answers. It's about being grounded in who you are and what you stand for. Real confidence doesn't fluctuate based on other people's opinions or the highs and lows of life. It remains steady even in uncertainty because it comes from within. For many, confidence feels like a distant ideal, something reserved for the talented, the wealthy, or the naturally outgoing. But the truth is, everyone has the potential to cultivate unshakable confidence. It isn't a trait you're either born with or not. It's a skill, a mindset that can be developed over time through self-awareness, clarity, and intentional growth. The key lies in understanding where confidence actually comes from and how to nurture it in a healthy, lasting way. At its core, confidence is the belief in your inherent value and ability. It's not arrogance, which seeks to prove superiority. It's not perfectionism, which fears failure. Instead, it's a calm assurance that you are capable, worthy, and enough as you are. When someone possesses this kind of inner strength, they become resilient in the face of criticism, rejection, or change. They don't collapse under pressure because their identity is not tied to temporary things like titles, roles, or external praise. And sadly, many people go through life feeling like imposters, doubting their voice, questioning their purpose, and waiting for permission to step into their potential. But the only permission that truly matters is your own. Building unshakable confidence begins the moment you stop outsourcing your worth and start anchoring it in truth. It's the decision to stop performing and start becoming. It's about peeling back the layers of fear, comparison, and self-doubt, and uncovering the strength that's always been there. This journey is not about becoming someone else. It's about fully embracing who you already are. Confidence grows when you recognize your uniqueness, honor your path, and commit to showing up authentically in every area of life. No matter where you're starting from, the power to build that kind of confidence is already within you. And once you begin, you'll find that it not only transforms how you see yourself, but how you impact the world around you. One of the greatest challenges people face today is the silent struggle with self-doubt and insecurity. While the outside world often sees a composed, functioning individual, inside, many wrestle with uncertainty about their worth, abilities, and purpose. This internal conflict manifests in subtle but powerful ways. Hesitation to take risks, avoidance of leadership opportunities, fear of failure, and an overwhelming need for validation. It's not that people don't have dreams or potential, it's that they question whether they're truly enough to pursue them. From an early age, we're shaped by experiences, words, and expectations. Some are encouraged, while others are criticized or overlooked. Over time, those experiences form inner beliefs, some empowering, many limiting. When someone repeatedly hears that they're not smart enough, not strong enough, or not good enough, those messages sink deep. They start to shape identity. So when the moment comes to speak up, try something new, or step out boldly, that inner voice whispers, "You're not ready, you'll fail," or "Who do you think you are?" This lack of confidence becomes a prison, holding people back from jobs they could excel in, relationships they could build, or goals they could achieve. Instead of living boldly, many settle for playing small. They second-guess their decisions, overanalyze their actions, and compare themselves constantly to others. Social media amplifies this struggle by feeding the illusion that everyone else is thriving, adding fuel to the belief that we somehow don't measure up. Even high achievers aren't immune. In fact, the fear of being found out or exposed as inadequate, commonly known as imposter syndrome, haunts people at every level. They perform well externally but feel like frauds internally. This disconnect between their outer image and inner reality creates ongoing anxiety and dissatisfaction. The real problem is that confidence has been tied to performance and approval. If people succeed, they feel valuable. If they fail, they feel worthless. This fragile foundation means that confidence is always at risk, dependent on the next success, compliment, or result. But when those things fade, so does self-belief. This widespread issue impacts not just personal fulfillment, but also relationships, careers, and overall mental well-being. Without unshakable confidence, people hesitate to lead, struggle to express themselves, and rarely fulfill their true potential. The challenge is clear. If we don't address the root of insecurity, we'll continue to live beneath our capabilities, haunted by doubts that were never meant to define us. Confidence, when deeply understood, is not something that arrives overnight or appears magically in a moment of motivation. It is something cultivated quietly and consistently through intentional effort and self-discovery. To develop unshakable confidence, one must first shift the mindset from external validation to internal affirmation. This begins with understanding that your worth is not determined by what you achieve, what you own, or what others think of you. It is rooted in your identity, your values, and your purpose. When confidence is built on this inner foundation, it becomes resilient, steady, and dependable, even in the face of failure or rejection. A key part of this journey involves becoming more self-aware. Many people operate on autopilot, unaware of the beliefs and patterns that hold them back. By slowing down, reflecting, and asking deeper questions, such as, what am I afraid of? Or whose voice am I listening to? We begin to uncover the mental and emotional blocks that prevent us from living confidently. Often these blocks were formed by past experiences, criticisms, or comparisons. They may have come from parents, teachers, peers, or culture. But once identified, they can be challenged and replaced with empowering truths. Another essential step is aligning with your personal values and strengths. When you operate from your authentic core, decisions become clearer, actions more intentional, and fears less controlling. Confidence isn't about being perfect or fearless. It's about being secure in who you are and committed to who you're becoming. This kind of growth-oriented mindset allows for mistakes, embraces learning, and celebrates progress rather than perfection. Surrounding yourself with supportive, growth-minded people also plays a vital role. Confidence thrives in an environment where honesty, encouragement, and accountability are present. Being in community with others who see your value and challenge you to rise higher strengthens your self-belief. At the same time, it's important to guard against toxic influences that feed insecurity or comparison. Small, consistent action builds trust with yourself. Every time you set a boundary, speak up, follow through, or take a risk, you reinforce your belief in your ability. These daily wins stack up, creating momentum and a deep sense of self-respect. Over time, you no longer rely on outcomes to feel confident. You rely on your growth, your resilience, and your inner truth. Building unshakable confidence is not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you were always meant to be. It's a process, not a performance, and each step forward strengthens your ability to live boldly, authentically, and powerfully. There comes a pivotal moment in the journey of building unshakable confidence when something shifts internally. It's not usually loud or dramatic. Often it happens quietly, in the aftermath of a setback, in the silence after disappointment, or in the solitude of deep reflection. It's the moment when you finally stop looking outward for validation and start turning inward for truth. All the striving, comparing, and performing suddenly feel exhausting and empty. You realize that chasing approval has only led to more insecurity, and that pretending to be enough has only distanced you from who you truly are. This key moment is a confrontation. It's when you meet the version of yourself that's been buried under fear, doubt, and expectations. For the first time, you acknowledge the voice in your head that says, "You're not good enough." And instead of running from it or silencing it with noise, you face it. You examine where that voice came from. Was it a past failure, a critical parent, a painful comparison? And as you peel back those layers, something powerful happens. The lie loses its grip. You start to see that you were never lacking in value. You just believed you were. That belief dictated your actions, shaped your self-image, and capped your potential. But now you begin to separate fact from fiction. You're not too late. You're not unworthy. You're not incapable. You are simply learning, growing, and waking up to your true self. In this moment of clarity, confidence begins to rise, not as a result of achievement, but from alignment. You stop trying to become someone else and instead begin honoring who you are. You speak with more conviction, not because you have all the answers, but because you've found your voice. You take action, not to impress others, but to live in alignment with your purpose. And suddenly fear shrinks. Doubt weakens. The power that once belonged to the opinions of others is now back in your hands. This breakthrough marks a turning point. The shift is internal, but the impact is external. You show up differently. You lead with authenticity. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You begin to trust yourself, not because life is easy, but because you've discovered a strength within that cannot be shaken. And from this place, confidence is no longer something you seek, it's something you embody. The journey to unshakable confidence is not linear, nor is it always easy, but it is one of the most transformative paths a person can take. Along the way, you uncover more than just boldness. You discover truth, resilience, and the power of living from within. Confidence that endures through life's storms is never built on shallow ground. It's cultivated through self-awareness, truth-telling, and choosing growth over comfort. When confidence is anchored in who you truly are, not in fleeting achievements, opinions, or circumstances, it becomes a constant companion. It allows you to speak without fear, act without hesitation, and believe in yourself, even when the world doesn't offer applause. This kind of confidence isn't about having it all figured out. It's about knowing that even when you stumble, you can rise again with clarity and strength. It's about having an internal compass that guides you, regardless of what others say or what challenges arise. So many people spend their lives shrinking themselves to fit expectations or chasing approval to feel enough. But at some point, there is a choice to be made. Continue living in the shadow of doubt or step into the light of authenticity. That choice is where true confidence begins to form. It starts when you stop outsourcing your value and begin trusting your own voice. It grows each time you show up, speak up, and stand firm, even when it feels uncomfortable. Confidence does not mean being without fear. It means acting in spite of it. It means being rooted so deeply in your identity that no rejection, failure, or criticism can uproot you. It means leading your life, not reacting to it. The more you embrace your unique path, honor your values, and take intentional steps forward, the more confidence you build. Not by force, but through alignment. This inner strength becomes your foundation, and from this foundation, you can create, lead, inspire, and rise. Confidence built on truth doesn't fade. It strengthens with time. It gives you the freedom to live boldly and the peace to rest in your own skin. No longer tossed by the opinions of others, you become grounded, present, and purposeful. That is the power of unshakable confidence. And it is available to anyone willing to do the inner work to claim it. Now is the time to stop waiting for permission, approval, or the perfect moment. If you want to build unshakable confidence, you have to make the choice to begin right where you are with what you have. The power to transform your mindset and your life is already within you, but it requires intention, commitment, and action. Confidence doesn't come from waiting until you feel ready. It comes from showing up consistently even when you don't. Start small. Begin by identifying the thoughts and beliefs that have been holding you back. Write them down. Then challenge them. Ask yourself, is this true? Replace them with affirmations that reflect your worth, your capability, and your purpose. Speak them aloud every day. Repetition rewires belief, and belief shapes behavior. Surround yourself with people who reflect the kind of confidence you're striving for. Those who walk in authenticity, not arrogance. Be intentional about what you consume. Read books, listen to podcasts, and engage with content that uplifts, empowers, and sharpens your mindset. Feed your mind with truth, not comparison. Take courageous action daily. It doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. Send that message, speak up at the meeting, set the boundary, try the new idea. Every small act of bravery builds a foundation of trust between you and yourself. And the more you trust yourself, the stronger your confidence becomes. Reflect regularly. Take time to acknowledge your growth. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Notice when you handled something differently, stood taller, or moved forward despite fear. These moments matter. They are evidence that you are changing from the inside out. Remember, you don't need to wait to feel confident to start. Confidence is built in motion. The more you act, the more it grows. You were not meant to live a life of hesitation and self-doubt. You were created to lead, influence, and shine fully and unapologetically. So take the step. Say yes to the process. Trust what's inside you. Your journey to unshakable confidence begins the moment you decide that fear no longer gets the final say. Choose to believe. Choose to act. Choose to rise.